Now that your company's ESOP has turned 5 years old, things should be running like a well-oiled machine. However, as your ESOP is beginning to mature, there are other issues to be aware of. My name is Ken Summers with PCE Investment Bankers, and today I'm going to talk about issues that an ESOP that's been in place for at least 5 years needs to consider in order to help your ESOP prosper in the years to come. Before we jump into today's topic, if you're just starting your life as an ESOP-owned company, make sure you go back to the previous video in this series where we discussed issues to ensure that your new ESOP gets off to a great start. With your ESOP now being 5 years old, life is good, right? The employees are educated and engaged, a functional and productive board of directors is in place, a substantial proportion of the transaction debt has been paid down, and key management positions have been fortified to take over as the selling shareholders prepare to exit. Even though your ESOP is running efficiently, it is important to maintain what you have built. The first thing to do is to be sure to continue with employee communication and education. This is a good refresher for existing employees, but also ensures that new employees become engaged and understand what an ESOP is and how it will benefit them personally. Maintaining the employee ownership mindset and culture is vital for continued success. The 5-year mark is also a good time to take a breath, to look back and reflect. Certain ESOP policies may need to be reassessed. The use of excess cash is a good example. Are ESOP dividends or contributions made into the ESOP to pay down debt releasing allocated shares too quickly? Or are those dividends or contributions building up excess cash in the ESOP instead of on the company's balance sheet? It is important to weigh rewarding employees, managing their benefit levels, with maintaining the financial health and sustainability of both the ESOP and the company itself. Remember, once cash is inside the ESOP, it can't be taken back out to be used for other company cash flow demands. During the last 5 years since the installation of your ESOP, a significant portion of the external loan that likely had a term of 5 to 7 years has been paid down. If the initial transaction created more than a 50% ESOP, it is probable that seller notes to facilitate the transaction are still in place. Refinancing a portion of the seller notes into bank debt is something to strongly consider and may be attractive from all perspectives. It is attractive to the selling shareholders because they will receive additional liquidity faster than remaining subordinated to an external bank, while also removing the risk of the debt that the company owes on the seller notes. It's also attractive to the company because the interest rate paid on an external bank loan will likely be less than the rate being paid on the seller notes, which will lead to an increase in cash flows. Finally, it is attractive to the bank because it shows that the company has demonstrated its ability to repay the ESOP debt. Plus, refinancing the seller notes will create a new revenue stream for the bank. If the initial transaction was less than a 100% ESOP, the significant debt reduction after 5 years of paying down the external ESOP loan will also allow the company to consider a second stage transaction. In a second stage transaction, the shareholders sell remaining shares of company stock to the ESOP, which will often result in the ESOP owning 100% of the shares. This then presents a huge tax savings opportunity. If the ESOP owns 100% of an S corporation, the company's income is generally not subject to income tax. This additional cash flow can help to pay down transaction debt, as well as accumulate on the balance sheet for future reinvestment purposes. The valuation, feasibility, and parties involved in the second stage transaction may be similar to the initial transaction. One difference is that a second stage transaction may present additional financing option to the company, on top of bank financing, seller notes, and balance sheet cash. During the last 5 years, cash may have accumulated in the ESOP trust that can be used to purchase company stock from the selling shareholders. This may allow the company to take on less debt in the second stage transaction, but also requires careful analysis, as cash in the ESOP trust can also be used for other future sustainability requirements. Growth through acquisitions is another opportunity that 5-year-old ESOPs may be able to consider. The debt reduction on the external ESOP loan may allow your company to pursue acquisitions by using a combination of excess cash on the balance sheet and the bank's willingness to provide additional financing. Just like for non-ESOP companies, acquisitions can accelerate growth through expansion of both market territory and the company's customer base, as well as creating more efficient operations through combined synergies. An ESOP company can also have certain advantages over other buyers. For example, a seller may prefer an ESOP as a buyer because it will benefit their employees, and help to preserve the target company's culture and legacy. Reaching the 5-year point with an ESOP is a mark of success and is also a turning point of beginning to consider how to continue that success in the years to come. As your ESOP continues to mature, the issues we touched on today will become more prevalent. In our next video, we will discuss additional sustainability issues that affect ESOPs approaching their 10-year mark. If you have any questions or would like to discuss your company's ESOP, contact us at any time. You can also check out the resources linked in the video description, as well as subscribe to our channel so you can stay up to date on a variety of ESOP topics.